said earlier that we're doing quite a lot of biodiversity and then do a lot more this year. We actually have the Chief Executive of the Wildlife Trust coming to give a keynote lecture at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So if you haven't already booked, it's going to be in lecture room 3, which is the next 2 up. And that's at 4 o'clock. So the Chief Executive of the Wildlife Trust. And also, any students in the room, there is a film on, what's the title of the film? Manufactured Landscapes, very interesting film. That's on at 6 o'clock in the CSA. Okay, I will now be handing over to Cecilia, who will talk about our anaerobic digester.
Hi, thank you for coming. So my name is Cecilia Fenech and I'm here as a research fellow in renewable energy. What I would like to do now today is to describe a bit more and explain a bit more on what is anaerobic digestion and the AD process. Then go into what we have been doing on this biothermal red project, and then which was probably what you're all looking forward to, going towards the AD plant and having a tour of the AD facilities we have here. So what is anaerobic digestion? Now this is a process by which microorganisms break down the organic matter and give you two main things. The first is biogas, which is the first product, and the second is the nutrients. The nutrient-rich material called digestate. So what's actually happening during anaerobic digestion? It's like a big stomach of a cow. So you have the food coming in, you have the microorganisms in the gut that are breaking down the food that has gone in, and then you will produce biogas, which is a gas, methane, and this is generally what in cows you are trying to limit, but in anaerobic digestion you want more methane. And the second is you have the leftovers. So in cows it is what is called as manure, and here we call it digestate. So is biogas and anaerobic digestion something new? No, it's been going back to 900 BC, where biogas was first used to heat bath water. But throughout the years, and especially with the advent of new techniques and new knowledge into microbiology, the field of anaerobic digestion has been much more controlled, and nowadays there's much more control you can have on it, and that's why it's been used as the AD industry. And in fact, the growth of the anaerobic digestion industry within the UK has seen significant growth over recent years, and we'll go in a bit further detail into this later on. Now, what is anaerobic digestion? It's what's an anaerobic digester, and these come in many shapes and sizes. So it's not like with solar power, where you have, or solar energy, where you have a solar panel and you put it on top of your roof or your field, and therefore you're replicating it, or like with wind turbines, there's a specific type, similar ones where you see a wind turbine and you know that's a wind turbine. But these can come in many shapes, different shapes and sizes. Anything from households, single households, anaerobic digesters, which is very common in countries such as India, where they would put their food waste into the household AD plant, and that would produce methane, which they would use in their household to cook their food, up to really large commercial facilities such as the Biogen Greenfinch and the Shanks plants I have shown here. Now, but in any case, the AD process remains the same. The principles of the AD process are the same. You have waste reception, so the feedstock comes in, you condition it. If you're using food waste, for example, from supermarkets, you will remove all the packaging, and so you just have food waste, you remove the plastics. Then it goes into pasteurization, that's further pre-treatment. Then it goes into the anaerobic digester. So this is what we generally understand by an anaerobic digester. It's this large vat, which is like the stomach of a cow. And you have the two products, the biogas, which goes into the gas bag, and the digestate on the other side. Now, what can be used? I've already mentioned, and I keep talking about waste, but you can use a large number of variety of different feedstocks, what you can put into your AD plant. You can put catering waste, source separated kitchen waste, food processing, but also mechanically separated municipal solid waste, sewage sludges, animal manures and sludges, and slurries, and also energy crops. And in addition to this, you can put them in mixtures. So if you have an AD plant, it doesn't mean that you are just putting animal slurries or cow slurry there, but very often you have mixtures. But how do you determine which feedstock you are going to use? And very often the feedstock biogas yield is one of the main determinants. Now, up here we have what are known as energy crops, so they would yield the most biogas. And as you are moving there, you are getting less biogas, but also they are wastes. So, what's the difference? How do you decide whether you're going towards the wastes or towards the energy crops? There's a number of considerations. When you're going towards this side of the feedstocks, you're using your energy crops, you generally have to buy them in. So your costs in utilizing these, you're getting more out, more energy out of it, but because you're getting more methane, but you're also putting in a lot of money into the system because you are paying more to buy in your crops. Whilst as you're going to the manures and to the bio-waste, so this is where food waste is, your feedstock can be a revenue in that the companies might be paying gate fees to make use of your facilities. So your feedstock is no longer a cost, but a revenue. But at the same time, you are getting less energy out. So the money at the end of the process is less. And then you will get your biogas. We focus generally on the methane, because biogas is generally consisting of around 60% methane, and you can decide to do 3 different things with it. The first, you can put it into a boiler, where you will be producing heat. Alternatively, you can put it in an engine, where you get 40%, generally you get 40% electricity, 45% heat, and 15% losses. And the other option is to upgrade it. So here, when you are upgrading it, you are trying to increase the concentration of methane from 60% to higher concentrations, up to around 98%, and you are removing your contaminants, and that's where you are putting your methane back into the gas grid. So then you are putting it directly into the gas grid for use in households. And this is the second product, the Digestor, which is similar to a compost, and it's a nutrient-rich material. So what is left over? So in a cow, this is what I called manure, and in an anaerobic digester, you will get what is known as digestate. Similar to manures, this is a highly, very nutrient-rich material, and therefore you can use it as a fertilizer or soil conditioner. So I've tried to give you an overview, a very quick overview of the AD process, because what I would like to do now is show you a short video of how the AD process occurs in reality.
Anaerobic digestion facility for recycling. The first stop is the weigh bridge, where the vehicle full of food waste is weighed, so we know how much food is being recycled. The vehicle then drives to an enclosed reception building where it tips the food into a large bunker. Business waste from supermarkets, restaurants, and even liquid food waste from factories, breweries and dairies is mixed with household food waste. It is passed through the mouth of the plant, which is chewed, and any contamination is removed, and the food waste soup is created, ready for digestion. Before digestion, this needs to be pasteurised to kill off any bad bacteria. This is like cooking the soup. It is held in giant vats, where it's heated to 70 degrees centigrade for 1 hour. They are heated by using recycled heat from the gas engines. The pasteurised soup is then fed into one of the digestion tanks. There are 5 tanks on site. Each one is like a giant stomach, where good bacteria eat the food, converting into biogas or methane and a fertiliser called digestate. The food waste is pumped through the 5 tanks, and this takes around 100 days. Like the bacteria in our stomachs, the good bacteria break down the food waste to extract as much energy as possible. Once all the biogas has been extracted, we are left with a nutritious organic fertiliser. Because the digesters are like giant stomachs, they have to be tested every day in our laboratory to keep them healthy. The digesters have to be kept at body temperature and are heated by using recycled heat from the gas engines. The biogas is stored in the roofs of the tanks. It is then fed into two large engines which, just like a car converting fuel into energy, convert the biogas into electricity. This is fed into the national grid through transformers on site. The engines produce enough energy to power 4,200 homes. The nutritious organic fertiliser is a black liquid which is taken from the plant and spread as a valuable fertiliser on local farmland. This helps improve crop yield and replace artificial fertilisers. Vehicles bring in approximately 120 tonnes of food waste every day. This means, in addition to powering our homes and helping to grow crops, over 40,000 tonnes of food waste is kept out of landfill.
So I've gone through, hopefully now it's a bit clearer what the AD process is, and what we have here at Cranfield is by no stretch of the imagination is it close to the scale we have just seen, but the principles are the same. Now, what are the benefits of AD? I've already mentioned a couple of them. There are environmental benefits related to the recycling of nutrients, because these nutrients are not lost as would happen if they are put, for example, in landfills, but you can recycle them and put them back on land. And also you are producing renewable energy and capturing and using the greenhouse gas. So the methane is a strong greenhouse gas. It's considered to be 20 times worse than carbon dioxide in terms of climate change. So capturing it is a very good idea because it's reducing our carbon footprints. And other benefits are that there are human health benefits because you are stabilizing the organic waste. You are not letting it degrade naturally and releasing these greenhouse gases to the environment. You are also reducing the pathogens and the odor control. Now, in terms of odor control, many people say that anaerobic digestion is a smelly process, but the AD process itself should not be smelly because inside the AD anaerobic digester tank itself, there is no oxygen. So you need to make sure that it's sealed. So there should be no exchange of odors or air with the outside environment. Where the parts that are smelly and where you can have problems are at the start, where you are receiving the wastes, and at the end, when you are spreading your digestate. So the process itself should not smell. And the lastly is you are getting an economic benefit, because something which was previously a waste, if you are using food waste or other waste, something which was previously a waste is now a source of revenue, and you are getting money back. Now, this interest in AD is something that's growing a lot within the UK, and we have seen the AD industry in this country grow significantly. Nowadays, today, as of October 2014, there are 157 AD plants within the UK. And this is quite important because for the first time, the number of AD plants in operation outside of the sewage and water treatment, for the first time it's greater than that within the wastewater treatment plants. So up till September 2014, there were more AD in the water treatment than in the food waste and the energy crops. So we are seeing that the shape of the AD industry in the UK is no longer heavily focused on the water side sector, but it's now at 50-50 for the two types. And there are three main types of AD. There are agricultural, where you are mainly using agricultural waste such as manures and also crops. The community, where you are using food waste from households and supermarkets. And industrial, where the AD is there to treat industrial waste. For example, waste from brewery. Adnams Brewery is one of the best known in this category. And this is something where I have seen that the growth of the industry has been quite rapidly in recent years, largely because of governments subsidies and government recognition that through technologies such as AD, you are reaching two different targets. The first, you are reaching your waste and diversion from landfill targets, but also you are meeting or acting toward meeting your renewable energy targets. And this is some old data. So you say we're growing, the AD industry in the UK is growing, so we must be doing really well. But actually, so a couple of months ago, I think this was from June, there were 130 plants in the UK which could treat 9.5 million tons per year. But in the UK, just looking at food waste, there are about 45 million tons coming from commercial and industrial sources, 3.6 million tons in the supply chain, and so on and so forth. So with 9.5 million tons, we are way, way back from where we can reach, and the amount of renewable energy we can create, and the amount of food waste that can be diverted from landfills. Similarly, when we're looking in the UK, on a European perspective, within the UK, most of our biogas that we are creating is coming from landfill and sewage treatment works, rather than from biogas. This is in contrast to countries such as Germany, which are well known for their AD industry, and they are some of the leaders in the field of anaerobic digestion from energy crops and solid wastes. And similarly to the European context, there is a similar trend within the UK, within the US, for increasing number of AD plants over recent years. This increase in non-electricity projects means that there are increasing number of projects where they are producing biomethane, so they are upgrading their biogas and putting it back in the grid. This increasing trend of biomethane projects is similar within the UK, where in December 2013 there were just, for example, 3 plants which are injecting their biomethane to the grid, and as of October 2014 there are 8 plants. So we have seen that the number of plants of biomethane to grid have more than doubled within less than a year, within 10 months, effectively. So now you have a bit of an idea about what is anaerobic digestion and what is the current scenario within the UK. And now I would like to explain a bit more on biothermal red. How does this AD plant that is available here at Cranfield, how does this fit with our work on this biothermal red project, which is funding the commissioning of the AD plant, and what we have been doing in the area of renewable energy and biological and energy from waste. So what is biothermal red? This is the biological and thermal renewable energy demonstrator. It's a European Regional Development Fund. It's a project that was given to Cranfield University. It has over £800,000 in value, of which 40% is given by the ERDF, and the remaining 60% has been match funded through Cranfield University. So it's not fully ERDF funded, but there's been a big commitment by the university in this regard. So there is some money from other sources as well. And it's running to December 2014, so we are reaching the end of the project. And the aim of this project is not just the creation of a demonstration facility, which is part of which is the facility we'll be seeing later, but also supporting SMEs in the east of England involved in renewable energy. So what we have been looking at is providing support to companies who are in the region, who are interested in this area. And as you can see, they are spread all over the east of England, and there are to date around more than 35 companies where we have engaged with in some way, shape or form. So this has been through 2 different things. The first is we have organized a number of workshops that are specific to the SMEs. So what we have tried to do is deliver workshops that are of interest to them, not just on the technology and so on, but also on things like finance and planning in anaerobic digestion, or biogas treatment and upgrading, because we found from talking to them that they might be interested more in how to actually, they might have an idea, they might be a farmer who has an idea of having an anaerobic digester, but they would like more practical experience on how to put this into practice. And the second is project-based support, where we work with companies one-to-one to deliver research and development. So they might look at having, they might be a company who has a specific, they have this specific types of wastes, and they want to see how much energy can we get out of it. We've also done things like developing a best practice guide for silage making, which goes for anaerobic digestion, and also feasibility studies. So I've tried to explain a bit more on what the anaerobic digestion is, what we have been doing on the biothermal ready project. The second part, the creation of a demonstration facility, is what we will be seeing now. But before we head on, do you have any questions or comments? Or are you all excited to go see the plant? Okay, I'll not keep you any longer. You can follow me and